once saved the President of the United States from being attacked by midgets. It's true. Well, my friend likes to put it that way, but I really don't see it that way. Allow me to explain. Humorous story, nevertheless. Well, I was working at a hotel in the Washington, D.C. area, and every year at this hotel, they had a meeting of the governors, of all the governors of the United States, and they met there, and every year, sure enough, at the same time that they were there, other folks that had agendas, they would plan their protest at about that same time. So Washington, D.C. is no unfamiliar place to protest. But, and every year it was like a hot topic. Something would change. You know, one year it would be, this, another year it would be that. Well, this particular year that I'm referring to, it was disabled Americans were having a big rally, big presence there. They wanted their presence to be known. They were out front of the property, and they got their signs, and they got their, and they were singing a chant, and it was a lot of disabled Americans, and you felt, like they, sympathetic towards their cause. Well, I was working at the property, and nevertheless, you have to protect your property, and you got to respect the rights of others. Well, I was going through the lobby, and what was happening was you were having the governors come in, and they, usually it'd be like a limousine, and they would had a barricade and move the barricade, and all the protesters, they're out there, and they would kind of get out of the way, and the limousine would come in, then they'd close the barricade behind them and allow people to get out, and then the limousine to travel through again. And so this kind of went on and on all throughout the meeting while it was happening, and everything was kind of civil for the most part, all in favor of non-violent acts of expressing yourself. It's good that folks let people know where they stand and what their concerns are, but kind of need to keep it somewhat even keeled, I feel at times. Well, what had happened was George Bush was there, and he was, of course, governor at the time, and they, I guess, had a particular concern with him and maybe some of his policies. And so this group of disabled Americans, they were a particular, frustrated at some of the things that maybe were going on in his state, and they wanted to express that. Well, they were downstairs, all the governors were, and it was on TV live, and they were filming it, and the different governors were getting up and they were talking and giving some of their podium speeches. Well, George Bush got up, and I guess the folks outside caught wind of that. Maybe they had those like little TV things. They were kind of monitoring the situation. Well, they decided they want to have their opinion known. Well, these folks, there's all kinds of disabilities. You had folks that were in wheelchairs, and you had other folks that were kind of that disability. I mean, you could see what their disability was. That difficulty getting around, and then you had some other little people there. Some I'm not sure the correct name, but midgets, and there were a lot of them there. I guess I never really thought about small people, midgets, as being a handicap, disability of any sort. Never really thought of it that way, but okay, possibly, sure, why not? To each your own. Well, I went down to the lobby, and George Bush was downstairs in the grand ballroom, and he got up and he was on TV, and they decided that was their moment to move, to act. And so they went through the barricade, and they went through the front door, and they went into the lobby, and their plan was they were going to go downstairs and cause a ruckus, and they were going to have their voice be heard while TVs were rolling, and George Bush was up on the podium. They were looking at prime opportunity. And so when I went down there, and they were coming through the door, the security there said, "Joe, you got to help us. They're going to try and get downstairs to the governors, and we got to stop them. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to lock arms like this, and we're going to go across, and we're going to block the entrance for them to be able to gain access downstairs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I kid you not, I looked over, and the sight of several, about 100 or so small people running after you, in your direction, charging you, and with the people in the wheelchair following their lead, and then the other folks storming after you, shortly after them. This was something to behold, and you don't soon forget about. It was incredible and kind of terrifying at the same time. And these people were serious. We go and we lock arms, and we're blocking the way down. And these people, they come around the corner, and they get to right where we're at, and they're like, you gotta let us downstairs. We got a right to be heard. I'm like, this is private property, and you have to leave right now. And they're like, you can't tell us to leave. We got a right to be here. We got a right to go downstairs. I'm like, this is private property, and you have to leave right now. And the security guard on the others are saying the same thing, and they're all being, they're kind of pushing and being loud, and they're chanting with their signs, and this one fellow in front of me, he's kicking me in the shins, and I'm, they're kind of trying to get by me, and I'm having to maneuver, no, you cannot do this, you must leave right now, it's private property, get back, and it was quite exhausting. Well, I guess the ruckus of the news of it had traveled downstairs, and some of the film crew that was downstairs said, hey, I think we've got something more interesting going on upstairs. So they came upstairs. But in the meantime, what ended up happening was, I guess these folks kind of figured out that they really weren't getting past us, because we were forced to be reckoned with. And so they all just sat down, and kind of like a sit-in. And I'm like, well, this is better than getting kicked in the shins. So, so we're just kind of monitoring the situation at this point. Still, locked arms, and nobody's getting past us, right? So the media came up with their video cameras, and then they saw that, and they're like, this is our time. This is our moment to be, have our concerns be heard in national news. And so they get up again, and they're like, oh, geez, here we go again. And they start chanting, and start hollering, screaming, and carrying on, and this and that. And we're saying the same thing we were saying, and then the other people from the hotel came in, and everybody was there, and then they called the police, the Metropolitan Police, and the police came. And I'm like, all right, now we're going to have some action happening here. This will be interesting. And the police came, and I thought they were going to be, working with the folks in the crowd, and basically say, hey, this is private property. You need to be respecting private property. And if these people say that you're not welcome, then you need to leave. Well, that ain't what they did. They went over to the media, and the guys with the camera, and they said, you have to leave. And if you don't leave right now, you're going to get arrested. And so the camera guys are like, hey. And they're like, all right, let's go back downstairs. And so they left. And when the protesters, when they saw that the media was gone, they're like, oh. And they all trickled and just went away. We're like, what? Show's over? What was this? That was it? But nevertheless, they left the impression on me, disabled Americans are nothing to be messed with. They deserve all the rights entitled to them. And like I said, rights need to be respected, private property needs to be respected, and I told this story, and of course, George Bush, the governor, became president. I told this story to a friend of mine, and he's like, wow, you could say that you actually protected the President of the United States from being attacked by midgets, like an army of midgets. I'm going, okay, yeah, that's kind of dramatic way of putting it. I don't know if I would put it that way, but it sure is catchy though, isn't it? So, oh well, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thanks.